how are
Yeah.
the tests in India and how's the education there? I mean, uh, is private education way better than public education? How bad public education is? How is the situation in your country, India?
Good question. Um, so, for those of you who don't know, India has some of the worst poverty gaps in the world, and our current state in general is pretty abysmal. Um, Basically, private education is for a very select group of society, but it is also a lot better than public education. Our government schools are often underfunded. The content sometimes is not correct, and it's very high, and there's a very high dropout rate of over 63% in general, especially in high school. India does have a right to education as the part of our constitution, and that's fantastic. But the issue is the quality of education is never really followed up on. Quality of education is not a universal right. So basically, in India, you have your national board, which is CBSE or SISKI, which can be broken down into ICSE and ISC. And then you have your state boards. Each state gets to choose, and this is often how your government schools in each state will be taught. And then we have international boards like the Cambridge curriculum of IGCSE and AS or the IBDP program. I take the Cambridge curriculum because I go to a private school, and I'm very lucky to go to a private school and be able to get a good quality education. But my school's big on community outreach, so I've also gotten a chance to interact with students in government schools and go to government schools. And I think one of the biggest indicators and the biggest display of how bad the situation of education is in India is we have guidelines of how each school needs to be built, safety guidelines. But in Bangalore alone, several government schools break these guidelines. You find that windows are half broken, the
Yeah.
tables are falling apart, the windows are closing inwards so it could actually hit a kid. There have been several accidents that have happened. But that's just the I think the reason I bring that up is to show you how, right from the basic stuff, the structure, the place in which people learn, things are bad. That isn't to say that we don't have some phenomenal kids work really, really hard to get out of the system, and we don't have kids who do succeed in life. We do. But the thing is, the system in India is often pitted against kids, especially kids going to government schools. And India is a massive country and a very diverse country. Um, there is no one size fits all over here. But it is important to note that in general, quality of education differs massively between public and private education.